Get started again. Let's get started again. Let me see if I'm streaming, if I'm actually doing this stuff. Boom, 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 boom. Indirecto. Shape your tears for another day. Yeah, I'm live. Cool. So yeah, if you come back, Wadaguzowana, welcome again, Fernando. Gracias por el apoyo siempre. Y pues bueno, continuamos con esta animation. Cool. Hello again. Yeah. So sorry, man. It's like my laptop died and I have to restart this stuff again. So welcome. Let me 1 second. Close my door. Okay. Yeah. Back. It's Marta from the school group. It's Marta. Oh my god. Okay. Okay. Next time, I'll remember, Marta, that your username is WudaGuzaWuna9596. Okay. Cool. Okay. So Marta, welcome. Oh well, let me mute my YouTube video. So laughing. Okay, so I'm right now in betweening. So pim. Boom, boom. It's going to move like that, and the camera is going to rotate, and I'm going to freehand or eyeball the camera rotation. So the elbow here is going to be like this. What time is in your country right now, Marta? Right now it's 3:44 for me. And how are you doing today? Boom. I just need to look at the shapes that are flowing beautifully between each other, so something like that will work. And I'm always flipping. When I'm animating, I'm always flipping. Boom. Right now I have a student that is having trouble flipping, and I'm always like flip like crazy, flip like crazy. And he's like, I know, Henry. But he's like, flip. So important, because flipping gives us an idea of how the motion is going to look like before pressing play, because we don't want to relay on the play button all the time. Almost 10 p.m. so I won't be staying long. No worries, Marta. Pleasure to have you here today. I'm also going to disconnect anytime soon, but I didn't want to leave the recording like me disappearing because something failed. Oh, by the way, if the recording stops at any time again, I'm not going to connect again because this is part 3 of this rough pass. I'm going to try to animate as fast as possible. I'm going to try animating as fast as possible because I need to go. So boom. When I was telling my friend my friend Fernando, thank you for the support. I was mentioning that I was making a new channel, a Spanish channel, just goofing around and having fun with friends, pure entertainment. And it's really cool to have those vibes of support, like just let me know and I'll support the channel. And I'm like, beautiful. Thank you so much, because that's what it's all about. Supporting other people in this crazy game of life. Boom. Bam. So I'm rotating the character, pop to go to this pose. So this is going to be a breakdown. This is going to be a key. And I'm thinking already of making this a little bit smaller. And now let's look at this. Let's rework on this pose because it's a little bit off. Because the box that is going to contain this character is going to look something like this. The box that is going to contain this character is going to look something like this. So my goal right now is to show the character on that perspective. Right now it's like super flat. At the top is like in perspective, but at the bottom is a little bit weird. So that's why we use the box method, something that we looked before in the community. Marta, here we are, bam, designing the box, and on top of the box we are adding the character. Boom, 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 and the rest is easy peasy. So here we're having the booty of the character here, bam. Here we're having the other leg of the character like this, here, bam. And then here we can for sure this leg into something like this, Tuki. And the overlapping lines are super important too, to show that depth on the characters. Boom, boom, boom. This character, this air fryer, have small legs. This character have small legs, and let me go back here on this leg, because this one is going to be extended. This character have small legs and a huge torso that is always moving like this, like a robot. So, boom, shun, shun. And here, the two arms are going to be like this, are going to be attached here. I like this arm here, so I'm going to try and move this a little bit that way, making this smaller. And reusing what I did already here. So this arm is going to be almost something like this, tum tum. While this one is going to charge like this, boom boom, ready to attack and to anticipate the boom, the crash with this character here. So boom 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 boom. We're having some, and it's super important to work really rough and messy when we are starting, boom, to animate something like this. Because I will improve the way that I think on each one of these drawings and improve my poses as a consequence. Shape your tears from another day. Boom. For example, the elbow is like this, so how can I find the rhythm between these two elbows? Maybe it should be something like this instead. Yeah, actually it's something like that, and that's why we use the rhythms thing, the rhythms tool, to find how is that these two arms are going to flow between each other. So we're having something like this. Beautiful. Now I get rid of the box. Get rid of the box. Get rid of the box. Here I can show one of the legs like that. Boom, boom, boom. Get rid of this line there. Boom. This is going that way. This is going this way. We have the horns here, something like that too. Here we're having the center line of the character, and then boom, collides there. So here the character is going to keep rotating. So this is another keyframe. I'm going to add another breakdown here where I'm going to keep rotating the character. Boom, 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 into something like this. Now what I'm looking at, mainly, I'm tracking this character movement with this top line here. Boom, boom. So this top line will be around here like this. A little bit rotation this way, so we progressively move to this frame over here, getting, look at that. And the booty, the line of the booty that is here is going to end up here. So I'm flipping to look at how this booty line is going to move throughout this timeline. Looking at the volume of the character, is really important also to track the scaling, how the character goes closer to camera to further away from camera, and also revealing a little bit of this top part of the character. Maybe this is a little bit side view, and then we go to this front view a little bit. Cool. Maybe this is not too rounded, so top part of this leg and this part of the leg. I'm tracking that line, so the middle point will be around there. Cool. And what about the angle of that line? The angle of this line is almost like this, and the angle of this line is something like that. So here in the middle, I have to look at those angles and progressively move towards the next rotation of angle on that part of the leg. And that's how we go easy in these frames. It seems to be like, oh shit, how is that we are going to be able to move the leg from this pose to this pose? Just by being aware of those little lines, those little angles, and how as a consequence of looking at those angles, we are able to create shapes. So that's the main thing. Damn! Watching you animate in process is super satisfying and so much to learn from. Cheers, Marta. And that's the thing, is to have fun. That's why like the word that you use is really cool, because it's like a satisfaction for both, from the viewer and from the one who is experiencing the animation process at the same time. Not always is like that. Sometimes there are moments in which I do want to break my computer apart. But the more that we animate, there's something that happens, and is that the more that we animate, the more that we get to know ourselves in difficult scenarios, and the better that we approach these difficult scenarios later in life. So the more aware that we are on the activity that we are doing and how we can translate the growth that we have on a specific skill into our personal life, the better that we can experience life, because we are learning from everything that we are doing. Even if I decide someday to clean dishes and work as someone that cleans dishes, if I can find something on that work that will help me grow and that help me get to understand my character a bit more, the better. Because then I'm using every opportunity, everything that is around me to develop myself, to understand how my character works. So all of this is going to keep in tension the arms, is going to keep in tension all of this. So here we're having this circular shape of that chainsaw that is going like this. So I'm right now tracking the arcs. So the angle of this shape is going to be something like this. So it flows beautifully towards that position, instead of having the angle of this like this, where there is the possibility that it starts looking like it's jumping, that shape is jumping around or jittering instead of flowing. So if the shape is flowing, is going to go to this direction, I'm starting to skew this shape towards the direction it's going from. Here, where is going next? Is going to have this arc. It's going to have this arc, something like this. So I'm aware of that. And this shape here is going to be something like, I'm not seeing it yet, but let me see, something like, if I'm not seeing it, I will draw it anyways. Boom, boom, boom. I'm drawing it anyways until I found it. Boom, something like this. Boom, 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 boom. Something like this. Tuki, tuki, boom. And then here we have the horn. Bam, bam, boom, ping, ping, ping. The arms too. Boom. This one, I think it should be more foreshortening towards this direction. So this is going to be foreshortening towards this way. So we're having something like this. Boom, and then boom. Here we're going like this. Boom. Shape your tears for another day. Boom, boom, boom. And then here we're having like this. Here we're having the other part of the arm like that. A little bit like this. Tuki, 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 tuki. Now put more love in this, like this. Tuki, 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 tuki. So the flow of the arms goes like this, and then the flow of the arm goes like, okay, the flow of the arms goes like this here, and the flow of the arms here will go like this here. So I'm animating the flow. What? Crazy, isn't it? Boom, boom. Something like that. Maybe we're seeing a little bit of the other elbow there, and then boom, 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 glides. Boom, beautiful. Let's play this. Boom. Now I want, how is that I imagine the sound of this animation? How is that this is going to feel like? And this is going to be like, it's like maybe I can do it with my hand. It's going to be like something like, bam. It's like, boom, boom, boom. So maybe it's going to slow in and slow out in the middle, then boom, explode at the center. Slow in and slow in the middle, boom, explode at the center. Crazy, isn't it? So here all of this is going to be even timing, and then boom, here in the middle is going to slow down, and this is going to be really fast. So I'm going to start pushing these frames apart into something like this. Boom. Now here at this point where these two characters are colliding between each other, well, these have to happen a little bit soon. So something that I'm going to be doing is, boom, push the timing of the animatic. So I'm going to get rid of the animatic soon to animate this on my own way. Boom. And first I'm going to animate the robot, and then I'm going to animate the air fryer, because it will be easier for me to animate one character, establish the timing on that one character first, and then go and add the other character to follow the same timing. So I'm going to get rid of the animatic for a little bit. I'm going to here add a color card, so I have a white backdrop there, boom, 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 and then I'm going to start playing with these frames, boom. So from here to here, all of these I want this to be really fast. I can put that on trees, boom, boom. And here, when this character starts rotating here, I want to add a frame here. Yeah, I want to add a frame there, and I'm going to slow out from this frame to this frame. And then I'm going to jump, boom, really fast here, bam, bam. So this might be closer here to this one, this might be closer to this one, and I can leave more space here to in between these frames. And this is going to give me the timing that I'm looking for. That is going to be that's the timing. I try to imagine the sound in my head and then trying to make that come to life. Now the rhythm here between these arms is a little bit off, so I can draw my guide here of how this rhythm, if this is the center line and I draw a line here at the top and I draw here a line like this, I can be like, okay, the arc of the arms will be something like this. Boom, 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 shake, boom, there you go. And now here I can do something like getting rid of this arm or just drawing on top into something like this, boom. And this part of the arm is the one that is going to give me the rhythm that I'm looking for. So this is going to be something like this here. Boom, boom. And then this is going to be something like this here. Bam, bam. And here the chainsaw on this way. So this arm is no longer going to work here. This one is no longer going to work here. And this one is going to be a little bit more this way. Maybe I can open this a little bit towards the right. There you go, getting rid of this thing here. And then we're going boom, boom. I'm going to in between these two here. I'm going to use the onion skin but reduce the opacity because I don't want to rely on that, but just to have some help here. So here the air fryer is going to rotate like this. Maybe something like this to give and then here the body is going to be like this, smaller. Boom, 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 boom. Open here, bam. We are jumping too abruptly there, so maybe I need something like this, closer to the other frame, starting to move this down. And I'm drawing. I need to see shapes existing on my canvas before I start overthinking too much. And here we're having the booty. We're having the booty here, something like this. We're having the booty, and now we are tracking that center line here too. Now this, I think it's going to be a little bit more this way, so it feels more aggressive. So oops, so what I can do here is grab the arms and move the arms this way, and now we are talking, dude. Now we're talking, boom, bam, 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 bam. See, so I'm trying to find ways, like many different methods to keep all the shapes flowing between one frame to the other, so everything looks really well. So here, for example, before drawing the arm, I want to draw, for example, here the chainsaw, the rounded chainsaw that is going to go from there to there. Boom, 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 boom. This could be also pointing this direction. Coolness and swagness. Boom, 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 boom. So here we're having something like this. Boop, boop, boop. Bam, 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 bam. Where's my friend? I'm waiting for someone. So here, boom, 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 boom. Here the elbow should be touching here instead. Boom. And then we're going like this, and this arm is going to come closer to camera, something like this. Boom. So it's super dynamic. This frame is super dynamic. Look at that. And now I can make this even bigger and closer to camera too as I move the other one too closer to camera. Boom. So it's going, this is making all of that all of that torn there. Boom. Boom, 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 boom. And then here the elbow will be something like this. Bam, oopsie, bam, there you go. And then here we have the other chainsaw. Well, yeah, the other chainsaw that is going to be disappearing here. We have the arm that is tapering towards one specific side. Boom, 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 boom. This other arm, I'm not convinced too much about this one, so I'm going to make this a little bit smaller to have this feeling of perspective. This hand here, I'm trying to find the space for that shit, something like this. Boom. Now these have to be bigger. Boom, boom, boom. And then boom, we collide there. So boom, boom, boom. We need another frame here. But what if I don't need a frame there? What if I can continue reusing the frames that I have before adding a frame? Let's take a look at how this is looking so far before moving to the other one. Boom. Now too even. Too even. So here, all of this, I need to be faster. So I'm going to put this on twos. This is in a slow motion. Twos. This is in slow motion, and then boom, we collide there. Bam, bam. So this may be on twos there. Cool. So here I need to add more frames, even more frames between these two. So let's work on that really fast. Here we have this other leg that is going to be stretching. It's going to be stretching there. The other leg here, boom. Maybe a little bit more for churning. Boom. So here between this and this, I need another frame here, 2 in between, and then I'm going to start flipping and animating here at the middle. P. Boom, 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 something like this, 2. Now this line is moving from here to here. So from here to here. So the in-between line will be around here, putting the rig on top of this will be interesting because I will have to I'll have to pose the rig many times, but these are the moments where I have to put some extra effort to make the original idea come to reality. This is a complex scene, but it's going to be worth it. Boom, 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 boom. So we have this middle line here at the center to track the flow of the arms. Also here we have this ball that is going to create an arc. So I feel like this is going to be something like this instead. Boom, 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 boom. So boom, boom, and then we go from here to here. Slow out, closer to that one, better. Opening this flow of the arms a little bit more. The elbows here, imagine there's a joint, there's another joint. Instead of putting the joint here, I'll put the joint here. So it creates an arc between the arms, or let me see. So we're going from there to there to there. Maybe these have to be a little bit lower. There you go. So I can add this joint a little bit higher. So I'm creating an arc with that joint. Beautiful. Getting rid of that joint there because that looks super basic, a beginner. So boom, 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 boom. And then here, this part of the hand is also going to be something like this. 2 key, boom, 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 boom. And here it's starting to show that way, bam, bam. And then here we have this. So this arm is here, the joint is here, then is here, and then is here. I feel this arm is going to look well on this frame here. I think this arm is going to look well on this frame, while on this one, I feel we can start rotating that elbow this way. So boom, 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 boom. Not too high. So we're having the arm to be something like this. Chainsaw. Boom, now it's flowing better. Bam, bam, and then we can start moving this a little bit towards the inside. Beautiful, now it's flowing beautifully. And it's all about the arcs. It's all about the arcs. Boom, 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 boom. Ta 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 ta. So this one could be a little bit more, could be dragging a little bit more. So I'm going to group all of this and moving this a little bit that way. Tuki, boom, boom, boom. And then I can move this a little bit this way, and then I can move this a little bit that way. So I'm opening my spaces. I'm letting myself have a space to create arcs, to have a clean spacing. And I'm doing all of that here on my rough pass, really, really rough and really messy. And then when I move into my rigs, I will take care of that in a very precise way. Boom, pam, zoom, boom. So from here to here, we're adding a new frame here. And then here we're having the booty here like this. We're having this thing here going like that. Boom, boom, boom. I'm working a little bit faster right now because I need to go. Boom, 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 boom. Then here we're having in the middle. Pa, 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 pam. So the elbow from here to here. Yes, sir. Bam. And then here this other hand is going to be around here. Boom, 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 boom. Cool. And then it's going to be like that. Ba, 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 bam, ba, bam, ba, bam, ba, bam, ba, bam, ba, bam. Boom, 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 boom. I'm going to leave the leg like that, and then I'm going to pay more attention to that later. Boom. So, boom, boom, shun, pam, shun. Maybe this frame is slowing my stuff. Let me see what happens if boom, pam. So all the camera will be rotating, the characters will be rotating around. The air fryer is going to go to the other side. Boom. What if I add an anticipation here? Let me make this smaller that way. Boom. Bam. Boom. Okay, cool. This is working better. Bam. So between these two, I'm going to add another frame. Tuki. Because I need another frame there, and then from this to this, we are jumping from here to here, and then all of this animation is going to be making something like, and doing that motion will hide that I don't have any frame between these two, but you will see on the next video because I have to go. So here we go like this, boom. We're going to go boom. This is part of the snappy animation, so we're going like this, boom, 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 boom. Yes, I want to save. And then here we have the other arm. Super, 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 super fast. Super, 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 super fast. Bam. Here we're having the booty. Here we're having the booty. Boo, 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 boo. Shape your tears for another day. I'm saying shape, but that song is save your tears, but because we're animating, we're saying shapes. How that sounds. Bam! This leg, now it's going to be something like poop, tuki tuki, bam. Beautiful. So, slow motion. Cool. Look at that ugly t-shirt, how it's showing everything. There you go. Boom. Boom. And now here, if I go back to my Goku reference, let me see. how many frames will I add there, or how the motion is going to be. Boom! Look at that! Look at that! That is going to help me jump from one frame to another without looking weird. Look at how they jump from this pose. They jump from this pose to boom, this pose, and then they are slowing in, getting closer to each other. Boom, 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 and the freezer arms moving like that. That's really cool. So we're going to add that animation later. And using this animation as a reference is going to help me understand how many frames do I need from here to here. It's like nothing. Just in one frame they jump to this other one here. So I'm going to jump, and I need enough space between these two characters to make it feel strong. So maybe I'll need to spread these frames apart. So the one character is here and the other character is here, and when they boom, it feels stronger than if these two characters are closer to each other. But we are going to, and also this frame from this frame have to be a lot of stuff to fix. So I'm going to create a camera. I'm going to add a peg and make this camera a little bit, open that camera a little bit more, so I can move all of these frames a little bit towards the right, towards the left. Boom. And then this frame over here is going to be all the way here in the middle. Boom. So I'm leaving more space there. Boom. And this will feel like. And of course I will add camera movement. I think I was going to say SpongeBob. What I was going to say SpongeBob. Look at how the camera. That's something that I can also add here. I can add a frame here, just with the frames that I have right now, to show you how this is going to feel eventually. So I'm going to boop, 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 and the camera I think is just moving towards the sides here. So let me add another frame here just to save the original movement. Then here we're having this, this. So boom, there you go. And then we end up in the normal camera. Boom. Boom. Now these frames, I want to spread these frames a little bit apart, so and make this a little bit bigger. So this is going to be something like this. Slow out from that frame, so put that closer to this one, to that one, make it a little bit bigger. Boom, boom, bigger, and moving a little bit that way. Boom, boom, and this moving bigger, moving a little bit this way. Shun, 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 shun. This is slow motion. This frame will have to be a little bit more towards the front, so we are feeling the rotation of the character. Boom, and then we fight. Bam, shun, boom. Now I have to push this animation even more because I want this to feel like boom. So it's an acceleration at the beginning. It accelerates at the beginning. We have a slow out here. Now here we need to accelerate even more. So I'm going to add this frame and put it closer to the previous one. So we are accelerating here. And then boom, we jump there. We jump there. These frames are closer to each other because we are slowing in, slowing in, and slowing out. So we are slowing in here. We're slowing out from here to here, and everything will work well. Boom, bam, zoom, boom, zoom, boom. I can. Yeah, it's good there. Bam, boom. Cool. So. That's it for today. That's the progress that I'm doing for today, and tomorrow I'll continue with the entire rough pass of all of this. Hope I don't have many troubles with the stream like I had today, but this is the difference between how the animatic look versus the rough pass. Look at the animatic, man, only that. The animatic is just that, but it's giving me already an idea of how this is going to look like. Boom. Cool. And then we have the rough pass, which is adding more animation, boom, and more fluidity, boom. I can even delay a little bit this with 4, and I will add more frames later. Zoom, boom, boom, boom. Or maybe even I can, yeah, I'll leave it there. I'll think about this later. I was going to think about a camera zooming, but nah, it's okay. So boom, and then boom, we jump to this other frame over here, and now we have more space between these two frames. Boom, boom, boom. I can move this a little bit towards that side. Tuki, 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 tuki. Look at this t-shirt. Ugly. Bam! Bam! From here, let me get rid of these rhythms. This is a study of rhythms that I did last time. So moving that there. Boom, boom, boom. And now I have more space to move these characters apart. And if I want, I can also zoom in a little bit so it doesn't feel too small. The characters doesn't feel too small. A little bit more like that. Boom, bam, boom. Cool. So tomorrow I'm going to keep polishing this first part of the animation and then adding more animation here as the reference and trying to find some motion for the head, like a secondary movement. Cool. This is all for today. Thank you very much for joining to this stream. Gracias, Fernando, por unirte a este stream. Thank you, Marta, for joining this stream. And for everyone who joined this cool stream. Cool. Awesome. That's it for today. Cool. Thank you very much, and I'll see you next time. Bye.